Joining us now for a look across the streaming space is James Czerniawski, head of Emerging Tech Consumer Choice Center. James, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know our jumping off point is Netflix, but I want to kind of give some context here. We're seeing some news on the deal front with Paramount getting UFC rights. You've got, Disney, Hulu trying to, see what they can gain in the sports space. It seems like, and then earlier, Netflix from last year through the beginning of this year had been expanding its sports bench, essentially. Is sports now the prime real estate as it relates to eyeballs in streaming?
Thanks for having me. I think that's a great question. I think that it's undoubtedly a new vector of opportunity for these streaming platforms to compete with traditional media ecosystems, right? So getting a sport like the NFL games that we saw Netflix get last year, or even just this week, I believe it was announced that Netflix secured the rights for the World Cup coming up in 2027 and 2031. You highlighted the UFC, which has a massive fan base in its own right. These platforms acquiring deals to broadcast these very popular sports to their fan bases is just another good strategy towards trying to get them to integrate into these platforms more broadly speaking. So yeah, it's definitely going to be part of the strategy for many of these companies looking forward, understandably so. That's millions of eyeballs that are up for grabs.
Yeah, so millions of eyeballs up for grabs. And we've seen in terms of data that streaming has overtaken a lot of different sectors, especially when you think about legacy media in terms of that eyeballs and those eyeball attention grabbers, if you will. Netflix, though, has been clear and away the leader, but off the back of their latest earnings, you had seen a dip, but it's since regained some ground. Overall, it's been an outperformer compared to the S&P 500. But can that momentum continue? I know you see some growth potential when it comes to ad tech. What do you see there?
Yeah, I think that Netflix is still a very good company that has a lot of promise looking to the future. Even if you look within their earnings report, as you mentioned, they did very well. They did beat a lot of expectations. They grew 16% year over year. Relative to last year. And there's a lot to like there. I think one of the most promising aspects of the company is that it's building out its ad tech platform, which is going to help bring in more revenue for the company. In their earnings report, they highlighted how they anticipated that their advertising revenue was going to double by the end of the year. That's impossible to ignore. I think that's really, really good. And then, as has been the talk of the town for the last year and change, is the fact that this company is also one of the leaders in trying to figure out how they can use artificial intelligence to help improve and streamline their various processes. That was something they highlighted in their earning report, was how they used Gen AI in one of their shows in Argentina to make a shot that wouldn't have been able to happen on that show's kind of a budget, right? So I think that the company is looking for all kinds of ways of leveraging its ad tech, coupled with its investment in leveraging technology like artificial intelligence to help improve their product line as we're looking to the future. So for those kinds of reasons, I'm very excited about Netflix.
How much do you expect to see AI as a component of its product improvement, as you mentioned, James?
I think that it's not going to be like a massive part of it, but I do think that it is going to be something where it's going to help a lot of those lower budget kind of items in the media future. And then as that technology continues to improve, it wouldn't be a surprise if we saw that get integrated into more mainline productions that have bigger budgets, because the power of the technology is kind of impossible to ignore. And even in that limited kind of dose that we saw there in Netflix's earning report, they said that it helped improve their process by 10 times, right? And it helped them save costs, so that way they could actually go and again, get a shot that you would not have been able to afford on that kind of a budget otherwise. So it's still very early on in technology like Gen AI coming in this kind of a fashion, but it is still a very promising thing to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that increasingly getting utilized in the future.
And James, there's a saying in the media industry, content is king. Is it still king? And if so, is Netflix still delivering on that front?
Yeah, I think that Netflix is constantly looking for ways to go and expand its portfolio. It's not just the traditional, TV and movie show ecosystem. One of the things that I like about the company is that it's investing in a variety of different mediums of entertainment for people. So we've seen them make deals in the video game ecosystem, for example, where they brought in licenses for games like Grand Theft Auto. And the video game industry has been doing tremendous over the last couple of years as well. So I think that, again, when you're looking to into the future, yeah, Netflix is one of those kinds of platforms that I think offers a broad variety of different types of content for its subscribers to go and actually get value out of the service. So again, when you take it all in totality, I'm still very, very positive on my outlook for a company like Netflix as we head out to the end of the year here.
How much do you expect Netflix to lean into gaming? I'm glad you brought that up because, for instance, Roblox has been a significant outperformer year to date. That stock up more than 100%. Netflix is obviously outperforming the S&P 500 year to date, but not at that level. So how much do you expect Netflix to lean into gaming?
I mean, I can only hope that they continue to lean into it even harder because, again, that, like I was talking at the open of the segment here, right? That's millions of eyeballs up for grabs when we're talking about the sports arena. There's other millions of eyeballs that are up for grabs when we're talking about the video game ecosystem more broadly speaking. You've got a lot of players that love a lot of these classic titles, and if a service is able to go and offer that to them plus everything else too, I think that does go and position Netflix in an area where, you know, that's a little unique. So I think that there is something to be said about Netflix considering leaning in harder into the video game ecosystem over the next year or so.
No, the gaming definitely is sticky in terms of eyeballs. I'm not going to say how late my niece stayed up over the weekend, but it was well past her bedtime gaming. All right, James Czerniawski, we appreciate your time. James is the head of emerging tech at Consumer Choice Center.